Hello everybody, how are you doing today? And welcome back to the garden. It's a lovely sunny day. I have a couple of days off from work. I can do some gardening. Let's go. As I said before, I have a couple of days off from work, so I can concentrate on my gardening. We had a couple of days of nice warm weather, close to 30 degrees, 32 I think it was maximum yesterday here in Norfolk. I don't know what people were panicking, it's just lovely summer weather. And it's back to normal today, 24 I think it's supposed to be. But anyway, we can do some gardening finally. The life was a bit hectic last couple of weeks, but I'm back to normal. What is happening with those chickens? Lots of noises today. I don't really have any plan in the garden today. I'm just gonna have a look and see what needs doing. There's plenty of jobs to be done, but we'll see what we can manage. I couldn't do much of gardening last couple of weeks, but not all is lost. There's still time. Let's have a look at the veggies and we can decide what to do. Right, so let's start from the beginning. My newly created onion bed is looking all right. Doesn't need any more attention. The stuff on the top here is just spent. Jesus, the chickens are crazy. The stuff on the top, the straw over here, it's just spent chicken bedding. It's mostly straw, not much chicken manure. I was clearing one of the chicken coops, so I dumped everything here on the onions. It shouldn't harm anything. Moving forward, the flower border is turning quite nice. I do like this wild, uncontrolled look. So this doesn't need much attention, maybe a bit of weeding. My second onion and garlic bed, everything is looking all right. This bed definitely does need weeding, but it's a small area, so I can manage quickly. The main potato bed, no attention needed really. I do like this look. Flowers, foxgloves, some poppies. And then the veggies in between. I weeded that bed recently, so it doesn't need much attention. I think this setup works quite nice for me. Next to my wildlife pond, the water is not flowing at the moment, there's no sun on the panel yet. But yeah, that bed doesn't need much attention. Well, maybe except removing all this lettuce. I think all my lettuce bolted already in last couple of days. So I might do that. I'm gonna start feeding this lettuce to my chickens. But moving forward, coming to the main veggie area, not that much need attention as well. The broad beans are getting very close to harvesting, but I do prefer my broad beans quite plump and big, so I'm gonna leave it as long as possible. I'm noticing some slug damage. I had a whole row of radish here. As you can see, most of them got munched already. But not to worry, I can always sow more. This is my Fort Knox for the strawberries. I had to put netting on the whole strawberry bed. The birds were getting more strawberries than I, so that is working a treat. There's plenty of strawberries to pick later on. I'm getting roughly 1 kilo of strawberries every other day for last 5 days, almost a week. But let's keep on moving and see what needs doing. My freshly sown lettuce is germinating, but I've just noticed again lots of slug damage here. I can't see any more seedlings on that side, which is not good. That's gonna need resowing. But so far this side of the row, there's quite a lot of seedlings still, so I might still get some lettuce from this bed. Moving further down, mizuna is doing very well. It all germinated and it's growing strongly. I think the slugs don't like mizuna that much, maybe because of the peppery taste. My asparagus bed is going wild. I stopped harvesting it for a while already. I'm gonna let it grow now. It can recharge the roots for the next season. It might need tying up and kind of taming it a bit because it's taking too much space and leaning over my strawberries and the path. The next mini salad bed is more radishes. They are looking much better. No slug damage so far. Same with the Chinese kale. Maybe slight slug damage, but not much as well. On and all, the veggie area doesn't need that much attention. I might do some watering. Actually, we had rain last night, finally, so I might not have to do any watering. You probably haven't seen that construction site here. Let me show you from the other side. So this is my veggie area. The potatoes are growing really nice. That's the early variety with some random garlic in between the plants. That's all right. I did manage to sow rest of the veggie area. This construction here, as you can see, I'm not a very good architect. That's just bamboo support. That's all sown with the climbing beans. In front are normal French bush beans. They are all germinating nicely. Most of them. I was rushing, I didn't put any labels anywhere, so I have no idea which bed is what bean. But once they start growing and fruiting, I'll know the difference. There's no show here yet. We'll see. I have some beetroot and chard germinating in this section. You probably can't see much on the camera yet, but they are here. And in the last bed here, next to the compost heap, are my outdoor gherkins, cucumbers. They are germinating lovely. Plenty of seedlings. With the cucumbers, my idea is almost all of them gonna stay in the ground here, but I need to steal a couple of seedlings, maybe 8 of them. And I want to plant them in the self-watering pot and put them on my floating shelf in the greenhouse like I did last year. That's going to give me a bit earlier crop, and the cucumbers do enjoy the heat in the greenhouse. So I might steal a couple of seedlings today, put them in the pots, and they can grow a bit. And when I have my self-watering pots empty from the garlic, which I need to harvest soonish, hopefully, I can plunk them in the self-watering pot, put them on the floating shelves, and have my cucumbers in the greenhouse as well, like I did last year. So that's one of the jobs I'm going to be doing today. But let's move to the greenhouse and have a look what we need to do over there. And here is the main job area for today. I need to sort out the greenhouse. Most, if not all, of this lettuce need to go. The chicken's going to enjoy it immensely. It's all bolted. It's not usable anymore, and the leaves are getting bitter a bit. My floating shelves need sorting out. All these seedlings need to get planted or repotted. It's gonna be a busy day. Everything is growing quite nicely. The peppers finally started enjoying the heat of the summer. Well, not summer yet, but it feels like summer here in the greenhouse. The cosmos marigold, hollyhocks, tomatoes need planting, and the sunflowers need planting out all over the garden in random places. That's another job that needs doing. And this whole section of the greenhouse needs clearing. I can finally collect my mizuna seeds. Most of them are ready for harvest. The plants are dying, the seed heads are dried. So I can pick as much as I want and toss all the rest to the chicken or the compost. We'll see. That's a lovely addition to the greenhouse. I can enjoy it for today, maybe tomorrow, but they all need to go. This bed is destined for tomatoes. So after clearing, I might put some chicken bedding and dig it in this bed. This hasn't been fertilized for quite a while, so it might enjoy fresh goodness from the chicken manure. And the grape in the greenhouse doesn't need any attention really. It's working lovely, lots of flowers everywhere. I'm hoping for a nice grape harvest from this grape again, like I did last year. And the flowers themselves do smell lovely. I never noticed that before. I didn't know that grape flowers smell so nice, but it's a nice addition to the greenhouse. Every time I walk in, especially when it's hot, it smells lovely here. So this is the rough outline for the jobs that needs doing in a garden. Nothing major really, just basic maintenance. But for now, I need my breakfast, and after that, I'll see you back in the garden in a sec. Well, I think we have a slight change of plans. Let me show you what's happening. I think I got a surprise from some bees. That's definitely a swarm, and it's moving into my spare hive that was empty, standing just there. So I guess I'm getting another free colony. I think I'm gonna leave the camera rolling and you can have a look what's happening. They are not aggressive when they are swarming. There's no danger of being stung if I don't disturb them much. That is a good sized swarm as well. I don't know how many of them went inside the hive already, Let me put my bee suit on and I can make the entrance slightly bigger because the hive was closed for storage. So this tiny gap for them to get in. I think if I make the entrance slightly bigger, just a bigger gap, it's going to be easier for them to move in. I'll be right back. I'll just nudge the roof of that hive, put a tiny stick under the roof. That should give them enough space to easily walk in. That should do it. Yeah, I can see them already getting in. That's a lovely sight to see. So I guess the gardening gonna have to wait for another hour or two until the bees settle. I guess having chemical-free garden helps with wildlife, if we can call the bees wild. They are kind of domesticated, but still, it's insects. Makes me happy that they chose this place. If they decide to stay, I'm gonna have to make a decision. Keeping the hive in this place, which would be the easiest for the bees. They already picked the spot. Or moving the hive to the more convenient for me place. I'll see. It all depends if they're gonna stay here or not. They might still decide to leave. I think the bees mostly moved in. More freebies in the garden, another colony. As I said before, I'm just gonna have to figure it out if I want to keep the hive here or move it to some more convenient place for me. The bees would prefer to stay here, I guess. They found that spot. But anyway, fingers crossed they're gonna stay in that hive and not gonna leave. I'm quite positive that they're gonna stay here. But now the gardening has to wait for an hour or two. I need to recharge the batteries. And after that, I'll see you back in the garden. Take care. Well, that was an unexpected bonus, getting a free bee colony, but they all moved in now. Let me just quickly show you what's happening at the new hive. It is still quite busy. The bees are flying around, but majority of them moved in already. This is just the orientation flights, I'm guessing. I'm gonna give them till the evening, maybe till tomorrow, to settle in, and then I can decide what to do with the hive, if I'm gonna keep it in this place or move it to some different location. I'll see and decide later, but now we can move back to our gardening session. Okay, so after the slight detour, we got a bit of a delay. It's almost 3 o'clock already and I can feel the heat building. But nevertheless, we need to sort out the greenhouse. I don't know what to do first. Let's get the gherkins, cucumbers, seedlings, and put them in their pots. Alright, so this is my cucumbers, the gherkins. They are the small picnic cucumbers, but you can eat them fresh as any other cucumbers as well. That bed gonna stay here. That's gonna be my outdoor cucumber bed. But I want a couple of them in the greenhouse like I did last year. I'm gonna plant them in the self-watering pots that's gonna go on my floating shelves. The shelves and the self-watering pots are occupied at the moment. That's why I'm gonna plant them in the pots for the time being. They just germinated. They only have the seed leaves yet, so they should be quite easy to transplant. I should use some tool, trowel or something. I just got a stick. I don't want to go to the shed and get some tools. I'll try to gently ease them from the soil. I will be planting 12 of them. Just like that. Small, tiny seedlings. Make a hole in a pot. Plant them in. And one is done. When you're dealing with seedlings like that, try not to hold the stem. It's very gentle, it's very fragile. It's much better to hold the leaf than the stem. And that's 4 of them done. I need 8 more. I can see some of them are growing in clumps, so it's good for me. I can take the whole clump out and leave some space for the other seedlings to grow. And doing that, growing them in pots in the greenhouse, it's another insurance just in case I get some slug damage. I still gonna have some plants in the greenhouse, safe from the slugs. Like with everything else, I'm using my garden soil in the pots. No compost needed. And here we are. We have 12 brand new cucumber seedlings. They're gonna get nice watering, and I'll put them in the greenhouse later on to grow in the pots. But now let's sort out the greenhouse itself. So here we are in the greenhouse. It's getting a bit crowded already. The grape smells lovely though. We will be concentrating on this bed. That will be my tomato bed. But first of all, I need to clean all the mizuna and collect as much seeds as I want. It's all finished and ready for harvesting. As you can see, and maybe here even, those seed heads are full of seeds and they are nice and dry. I'll cut a couple of them and put them in the paper bag. They can dry even more in the paper bag, and I can harvest it whenever I have any time. That was very easy project with the mizuna seeds. All I had to do is just leave the plants over winter so they can flower, get pollinated and give me seeds this year. I could have probably harvested them a bit earlier. I have a feeling there's a lot of them dropping on the ground, so I might have mizuna problem later on in the season. But for now, I'm happy with the free seeds. There is so much of it, really. Once you got any plant, really, doesn't have to be mizuna, and you start collecting your own seeds, I don't think you're ever gonna buy any more seeds of that plant. You're always gonna have more than enough. Okay, I think that's plenty enough for me. All these plants can go on the compost, or I can give it to my chickens. Maybe chickens gonna be a better idea, otherwise I'm gonna have mizuna all over my compost later on. So let me pull the plants, I'll take them to the chicken coop, the chickens can enjoy it, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Okay, the chickens are happy munching on the old mizuna. They do like the seeds of almost anything. And now I can concentrate on this bed. I will need the help of the chickens later on. I'll show you that in a sec. But I still have some garlic here, elephant garlic growing. I will dig it out. I don't think it's gonna do any more. I can see it's yellowing already. Do a quick weeding. I'll save the strawberries. There's some strawberry plants here on the edge. They can stay, all the weeds gonna go, and then we can start planting the tomatoes. But first, let's dig out the elephant garlic and we'll see what we're gonna get. There are a couple of them left. I already dug out 2 plants, I think, a week or so ago, because they were getting yellow, munched by the onion white rot. I left the strongest one, but I can see they're already yellowing. So I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do any more. But well, it's not the elephant garlic size, but it's still some garlic. That's a keeper. It's gonna go for cooking. And I have some bigger one here, 2 of them. Also, not huge for elephant garlic, but good enough for cooking. And last but not least, same story, small for elephant garlic, but good enough for cooking. So, got my 3 garlics. Let me put them aside somewhere. That's for today's cooking. And I can quickly go through this bed. There's hardly any weeds really. Just some random seedlings. I did have a poppy here, but it's finished. That can go as well. Same with this one in the corner. Okay, the weeding is done. That was very quick. That can go on the compost. And then I need some chicken manure from the coop. Okay, the chickens were very helpful and they donated 2 buckets of chicken bedding. It's mostly straw, there's not that much manure in it. I changed the straw not long ago really, but that should be plenty enough goodness for that bed. It hasn't been fertilized for at least 2 years, probably more, like 3 years. So 2 buckets of this gold should be enough. Just spreading it on the bed, and I will dig it over with my fork. Shouldn't take long. And the tomatoes will definitely appreciate it. It's a bit dry and dusty here. I should have wet the greenhouse before starting. But never mind. I can manage. It is 28 degrees here. As I said, I have some strawberry plants here on the edge. They can stay in the ground. I'll show you the tomatoes in a sec as well. They are not the huge ones. It has been really cold this spring, so it's quite late everything. But still now with a heat wave and proper sunshine, it should all shoot up quite nicely. As I said before, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have mizuna problem in the greenhouse, but it's a nice problem to have. I can leave some of the plants. We'll see if anything gonna germinate, or pull whatever I don't need. That's a quick and easy job. I'm getting the grape flowers falling on my head. I can't believe I've never noticed how nice grape flowers smell. I've been growing them for years and years, but I guess that's almost the first time in the greenhouse. I mean, it's a third year now, third or fourth year. But I guess the plants are big enough to produce enough flowers so I can smell them. Right, that should do it. Now the tomatoes. Okay, so I got 3 plants of each variety. I have 3 red cherry tomatoes, 3 dark cherry tomatoes, and 3 of my beefsteak tomatoes. That's all I can fit here really. It's still crowded, but that's the only space I have. As I said before, they are not the biggest plants. They didn't grow that well a couple of weeks ago with all the... Well, we almost got frost, haven't we, 2 weeks ago? And now it's 30 degrees. But anyway, they are ready to go in the ground. It couldn't be easier. Just make a hole, put the plant in, bury, that's it. I should have some trowel really to do that. But the hand has to suffice. As I said, just dig a hole. You can bury tomatoes as deep as you want really. If you have long, skinny, leggy tomatoes, it's good to bury them. Just remove the bottom leaves and bury the stem. They should grow the roots all along the stem really. This is a quite nice seedling. It's not root bound yet, so it's a perfect time to plant it. I will bury it slightly deeper, maybe an inch deeper than it was in the pot. It's gonna make it more sturdy. So 1 is done, 8 more to go. When planting the tomatoes, I like to leave a tiny well around the plant. It's just easier to water it later on. You can just pour the water around the plant and it's pooling in the correct place. It doesn't splash all over the area, so the plant is getting all the water it needs. As I said, I'm a bit stingy with the space. I'm giving them no more than 30 centimeters apart. But they should be alright. They're going straight into the soil, not in any pots, so the roots can spread as far and wide as they want. And with all this chicken manure, they should have enough goodness to grow. Word of caution, if you're not used to using chicken manure, be careful, you don't want to burn your plants. It's a very strong fertilizer. Since I've been using this for quite a long time, I roughly know how much actual chicken manure was in those buckets. As I said before, it was mostly straw with some chicken manure, and I mixed it with the soil as well. If you just put it around the plant, especially when it's touching the stem, it's not good for any plant really. Well, potatoes can probably survive and grow in it, but not much else. Seems I kind of trampled my strawberries, but that's alright. They've already finished fruiting here in the greenhouse. I'm picking my outdoor strawberries. It's good to plant stuff in the soil. It's so much easier with watering. Here in the greenhouse, all the plants in the pot need daily watering, at least once a day, if not more. But they should be much easier to control in the ground. What I'm doing here is just removing the lower leaves, and on the red cherry tomatoes I can already see the suckers growing. So I'm removing those before planting. It would be good if I take it out of the pot before planting. Talking about suckers, let me show you how they look like. So we have the main stem and the leaf, and in the junction with the leaf and the main stem, this tiny bit is a sucker. It would grow quite quickly. It's better to remove them while they are small. Okay, and the greenhouse tomatoes are done. They can grow like that a bit. They're gonna need staking and support later on, but for now they are quite safe to grow. All I need to do is water them properly. Let me grab a watering can. It's better to water plenty, real nice good watering. There's no point sprinkling the surface of the soil in weather like this when it's sunny and a bit windy, even here in the greenhouse, especially here in the greenhouse. If you just sprinkle the top layer of the soil, it's gonna evaporate in no time. So for the bed like this, it's what, 3 meters by 1 meter? I'm probably gonna use 3 or 4 full watering cans. It will keep the soil damper for much longer, and it will encourage the roots of the plant to grow deep in the surge of water. If you're watering the surface only, the plants grow the roots along the surface of the soil because it's easier for them. If you force them to search for water deeper down, That's what they will do, and that will help them in the long term. Okay, and the tomatoes are planted. That makes me happy. I think we're gonna finish this video here. Let's call it part 1. There's plenty of other things to do, but I think that would get too long with the bees and all the stuff. So let's agree that's part 1 finish, and I'll see you back in the garden for part 2 and maybe part 3. Thanks for watching. Bye.